Well, speaking of American taxpayers, I'm sure many are thankful that the Trump administration is in power and Trump has been backing Elon Musk to get to work with Doge. And as Elon Musk is right now preparing to kind of step back from his service in the Trump administration, I couldn't agree more with David Marks's piece in Fox News claiming that America owes Elon Musk a debt of gratitude for exposing and ending waste, fraud and abuse. Hillary, can I get your take and your assessment of just the kind of impacts that Elon has made?
Well, Gabriella, it's very interesting to hear you say you're very grateful to David Masters. You couldn't be more grateful, and you're not an American taxpayer, as far as I know. I am. And I totally and utterly agree with you. In fact, even more so because it's my money.
Yes.
You're right. I mean, actually, what's very interesting, what I have seen over the years, living here in America, is actually President Obama, Clinton, Bill Clinton, as well as when Hillary Clinton was running, they've all said for years that there's been fraud, waste, and abuse. And actually, it was President Clinton who let go of 377,000 federal workers. And Obama actually was the one that was called the deporter in chief, all these illegals taking American benefits. So they've all tried to do it. They've all said they were going to do it. President Trump is the only one that was able to do it. Yes, precisely with Elon Musk, who hasn't taken a salary and has basically done this for the good of the nation. I don't know who would say they're not grateful. And quite frankly, my proposition is that any Democrat that isn't grateful, like all those Democrats that sat down when President Trump was talking about tax breaks, they should not receive any discount on taxes, and they should not actually be part of the golden age that's going to come, because they're actually saying that they were happy with the way things were. So let all the benefits come to those of us that believe in, voted for Trump, and appreciate Elon Musk.
Oh, it's a fair point. And those who don't appreciate Elon Musk, you know, those far left lunatics that have been out protesting, some have been setting Tesla cars on fire. The big question is, they're going to have to find a new enemy. Who are they going to go after?
Yes. And you know what's so hypocritical, Gabriella, is that they're setting fire to these Teslas. Well, first of all, I'm sure, I don't know the statistics, but I'm sure not many people dashed out and bought Teslas the day that Trump was elected. So a lot of those Tesla owners were actually original left-leaning, probably Democratic liberals, and also people that purportedly care about the environment. If you care about the environment, why are you setting a truck on fire that's actually going to cause carbon dioxide damage to the environment? It is beyond hypocritical.
Oh, makes so much sense, doesn't it? Now I have to talk to you about CNN. Its primetime ratings dipped below 500,000 viewers, with less than 100,000 of those coming from the 25 to 54-year-old demographic. Now, the numbers are, of course, a troubling sign for the network. Hillary, are you surprised? Why are the ratings just tanking?
Yes, they are. And this is not just recent news. This has been a steady decline, rather like a ski slope, Gabriella. And what's interesting is, where are those viewers going? I can tell you one of the networks they're going to, and that is Newsmax. I'm a proud contributor at Newsmax. They're now the fourth watched network, right behind Fox. And I would say that I know definitely the 8 p.m. hour, 9 p.m. hour, Rob Finnerty and Rob Schmidt have definitely exceeded the CNN ratings. Now to the other part of your question, which is why, when you watch a network that is consistently wrong, you can't really believe what they're saying. So why would you continue to watch somewhere where the predictions are wrong and the opinions are wrong? And what's very sad, actually, I don't think Ted Turner ever set out to have a left-wing propaganda network. He did set out and was the first innovator, actually, for 24-hour news. I personally find it sad. I would like to just see news, and you don't have that anymore, certainly not from CNN.
Yeah, too many lies have been spun, as you say. Opinions are so off and really not connecting with the average American, in my opinion. And I think as well, many people are tuning into digital programs. Many are getting their news on X, and they're happily switching off from CNN. Now, I have to talk to you about what's going on in Canada. Canadians are heading to the polls. It appears that the Liberals are poised to win their fourth consecutive term in office. We know that Trump has trolled Canadians on election day. He's taken to social media joking that he was on the ballot. Calm down, everyone, it is a joke. And repeating his call for Canada to become the 51st US state. Now, it appears that former central bank Governor Mark Carney will be the winner. We'll wait to see. Hillary, what's your assessment of Canadians just getting another Justin Trudeau with him?
Well, that is really how it looks. Mark Carney certainly is the head of the Bank of England. was actually no great force in terms of economic change nor prosperity. So I actually think this is rather sad for Canadians. The definite that has come out of this is the Canadian national spirit. There's actually been quite a few commercials with their elbows in the air referring to the hockey move that the Canadian ice hockey successful players have used. It's been a rallying cry for Canadians to rally behind him, since he's obviously the opposing political view for President Trump, and because many Canadians have been rallied with this thought of not wanting to become the 51st state. I do actually think it's a great pity, because I think most Canadians would be certainly more prosperous if they were part of the US. And also, one of the things President Trump has said is that the Canadians, they don't provide for their own national security. I don't think many people realize this. Americans, the American taxpayer, provides for Canadian security. So I think the Canadians need to step up for a lot. But yes, you're right. The election results are looking like it will be Mark Carney. And this is a drastic change from as recently as December, when they were polling at about 11%. They went into this election tied with Pierre Poilievre, the more populist conservative candidate. Of course, it's a parliamentary system. There are 343 seats at stake. And like in the UK, people vote for their local congressman, and then that seat then determines who will be prime minister, looking like Mark Carney. The polls have closed here on the East Coast. They will close at 10 p.m. on the West Coast, 7 p.m. their time, and then we should know more tomorrow. However, their ballots are still paper ballots, Gabriella, so it will take a while for the concrete results to be counted.
Okay, and Hillary, finally, there was really sad news over the weekend that Virginia Giuffre, who of course accused Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein of sexual assault, has died. Now, her family confirmed that she died by suicide. I've seen a lot of theories circulating online, particularly an old post that she wrote years ago resurfaced claiming that she wasn't suicidal. Of course, there were always going to be these theories brought up, just as there are conspiracy theories around the death of Jeffrey Epstein, but her family has confirmed her death was by suicide. It raises the question, I suppose, that we really want answers to. Are we ever going to see this Epstein client list that supposedly exists? And also, Hillary, I know you've spoken about this previously, but I want to get your reflections. Is her death a reminder of just how evil Epstein was?
Yes, yes, and yes. One thing I will add, actually, if I could, is with regard to the suicide, yes, you were correct earlier when you said that she had written a note and made it public that she was not suicidal. However, that was over 2.5 years ago, and she has recently separated from her husband and is going through a custody battle, which I think for any mother is something that's very distressing. And also, she'd had an accident recently, hit by a bus, and she posted she only had 48 hours to live. The bus driver then refuted that the accident was that serious. So there was a number of things here. Was she telling the truth? Was the accident that serious? So some things that she was saying herself were rather discombobulated, and it wasn't a straight line of truth. So always surrounded by something other than a straight line here. What I will say is there are many people who would like to see those files. I don't know that they'll ever become totally public. Why? Because there's too many people that are too powerful in too many places that don't want them to become public, Gabriella. And I think that behind the scenes, they're the ones that are controlling those lists. They were supposed to be made public right after Trump came to power, and they weren't. So that remains to be seen. And I think it's somewhat doubtful that we'll ever know sort of the whole truth.
Yeah, it's very sad. It was so sad and so disappointing. There was so much hope when Trump came in that we would get all of the truth, all of it. Who knows if we ever will. Hillary Fordwich, President and founder of Strellmark, thank you so much for joining us in Power Hour.
Pleasure. You're welcome, Gabriella.